Hi guys. Okay, we're back, and I have the rocks that I collected on the railroad tracks earlier. So I'm going to go through some of these rocks for identification, and also maybe crack open a couple of these. Alright, so this is basically a piece of limestone with some chert in there. I did start whacking that with a bopper. Okay, so you can take a rock like this, and if it isn't open up and you want to take a look at it, you get a hammerstone, basically a rock it's not going to break when you whack onto a piece of limestone or onto some chert or flint. Okay, so that's coming apart. And you can see the conchoidal fractures inside here in the limestone. It's getting to the more dense chert, which is high in silica content. Okay, you see how that flakes off, and they flake off into pretty sharp pieces. It comes off relatively simple because they fracture easily. Now, if I took my flint, my steel, and you get to a sharp point like here. Alright, so this is a softer part of the stone, but if you get to the shiny parts over here, see, I'm just barely grazing it, and you can see the sparks coming off of there. Okay, that's when you know you got a piece of chert or flint that easily scrapes off your steel. This is basically, I did a video on this earlier. It was basically a file that I shaped and then rehardened by heating it up and quenching it in water. Alright, so let's take a couple more of these rocks. I'll put this back in the bag here. Now here's a piece that's got some on here, over here. When you find a limestone, you're going to find it very chalky. It dries your fingertips very easily. So let's see if we can break around some of this. See that piece that I broke off there? So you're going to have like a lighter exterior, and it's going to be darker on the inside. There's some fractures here. This is ready to come off. Okay, but this is not usable as far as napping it into an arrowhead, because it fractures and it's crystallizes, and you can see that. But I'll try and break off a piece. Okay. Now, I made some tools for this. I made a 3/4 inch bopper, which is basically I soldered a cap on a piece of pipe. This is about 7 inches long, and then once I had it soldered in, I took a threaded rod, I held this in place, and I rammed down in there to round off the copper. Okay, so I could get better edging when I whack on this. And let's see. See if I could get where you guys can see a little bit better. So that's a bopper. I made another one too. Oh, again, once I rounded this off, then I filled it up to, heated it and filled it with lead solder up until about this point. It's hollow right now, but I plan on filling this with wood, just to give it a little more solidness to it. Same thing with this one here. I think this is 1.5 inch pipe, and I rounded off this after I soldered it in place, and then I filled it with lead up to about this point, maybe just to the top of the cap. Okay. Now I don't have everything I need yet. I'm still working on gaining all the materials that I need for flint knapping. I did make my own copper nails. So here's a piece that flaked off. Now this is really rough, and it's really useless for an arrowhead. But let's get into some of these other pieces. Here's some of the pieces that I found up on the railroad track. Alright. What's nice about going up on the railroad tracks, it'll teach you how to identify the outside and the cortex of what you should be looking for, because it's all busted up stone, so it's going to be exposed already. But if you find a piece of limestone, and I have a piece here, but I don't know if there's any chert inside of it. I found this rock. Okay. And then when I busted it, it fractured easily, but this is not smooth enough and dense enough for chert. It does spark a little bit, but it's not like glass. So I got to break this up more. And I did buy a hammer. Okay. Now you should be wearing safety goggles when you do this. Let's see if we could see what's in this rock. So this looks like just black quartz. A lot of quartz in here. You can see the white that's in here in the cortex. Okay, I don't see anything really solid. And in New Jersey, you know, to find black flint or quartz or flint or chert, it's going to be hard. Found this piece, but it's grainy, which I don't think it's really going to do any good, but let's see, put a bopper to it. Now I should have gloves and a pad to do this. I just want to demonstrate some of the stuff to you. So now I got this piece that flaked off. It actually flaked off pretty nice, so if I work on this I might be able to get one that I'm able to nap. Alright, but even something that is this thin, okay, and it's really sharp. I mean, it is sharp. I could take this and cut some stuff up. I'm just grazing it. See how sharp that is? Just scraping off that steel like nothing. Okay? Let's see if we can nap a better piece off of there. Would be much better off with a pad. That way I could really put some pressure and maybe get it to flake a little bit better. Still too small for an arrowhead. Okay, it's fractured very easily. Try another piece. Crushing. So it's breaking apart. Here's a piece. You see how it's fractured all over the place like that? That means you're not going to be able to nap a nice flat piece. But I do have, now these are rocks that I found on the railroad track, okay? So I haven't found one that's really going to give me a good flake. Even this, it's just, it's too brittle. What I'm finding here. But for flint and steel, for your little fire kit, you know, once you get a sharp edge, forget about it. Forget about it. That's my Jersey Italiano. Alright, here's a nice, pretty nice piece. Got some larger fractures in it. So let's see, maybe I get a piece off of this one. No, it's just fractured too easily. Okay, So, on an earlier video, I did a piece where I found in the Rockaway River, and I do have a piece that fractured off of there. Now this is, you can see the white limestone, off-white limestone, and this was the first piece that I fractured off of there. Now this, I'm hoping to be able to nap into an arrow. It's different than what you're seeing with the black chert. This is like a tan chert, brown, and I'll just show you how sharp it is. Okay. Really should nap this into a sharper edge, and it would spark better. Alright, but these are ways that you can identify it. Now, let's see if we can nap a better piece for an arrowhead. This is where I napped off of there. This is a piece that broke off of it. This was the entire stone that I found in that, and when I hit it, this piece came off of, actually I have a couple pieces. These pieces I napped off of there too. Okay, I was like, this piece was here, this piece was like up over here, and then this piece was on top of here, and then that piece was over here. Okay, so, but I see that I have something I might be able to get a flake off of here. Now, this is all new to me, guys, so I'm learning, but I wanted to share this with you guys because I know some people have asked, and Bobby, you know, I know you want to go out there and identify some of this stuff. Like I said earlier, it's probably best if you go out some railroad tracks and find some that's already busted open, identify it that way, and then get to a point where I am now. I'm going in riverbeds and stuff like that, or maybe even to some limestone outcrops that are up on top of mountains that have been identified as limestone, and you're gonna have to, you know, get a chisel and hammer and dig for this stuff. So let's see if we can get a flake off of this thing. The limestone is very soft, you know, so get past that limestone down to the actual stone is going to be key. Hear that sound? That's the limestone. Now I'm hitting a piece of chert. Here's more limestone. You can tell by the sound and noise that it makes. Let's see if we can get it. Alright, that's small little pieces. That's not good. This is starting to bust up into little pieces. not good. I didn't want it to do that. Limestone. Oh, there's a flake. Small though. See that flake? That thing is really, really sharp, especially right in here. You know, on this edge here. But you can see the limestone and then where it transitions into the chert. Okay? Now, from what I understand, you could take some of the stuff and heat it, change to really pretty colors, but it'll also make it where it will flake easier. Here's another flake that busted off from that last hit. But it's not big enough for an arrowhead. Alright, let's see if we can get it. Right here. I wish I had a pad. You should also put leather over your leg so you don't cut your leg. These pieces are flying all over the place. Best thing you do is put out a piece of tarp too. I'm really just messing around here. Okay, so this is a piece of flint that I have, or a chert that I have. Now, let's take that. Alright. This seems to be pretty solid to the backside here. Maybe I can break it off the other way. I'll try that. Small piece. Another small piece. Got a bunch of little small flakes down here on the ground. I'm starting to gather. I really need to get a pad, get a better grip on here. Or heat it up and make it fracture easy. Alright, so that little pieces are breaking off of here. And you can see, now that I've sharpened this up to an edge, alright. Okay. Alright, so I wanted to show you just a couple more pieces. And these are in my fire kit. I fractured off. This was on a larger rock, but you can see I don't think I'm going to be able to get anything that's useful on here for an arrowhead. But what's nice about this versus quartz, see this arrow that's coming off and it's burning actually longer, hotter sparks because they're lasting longer. You know, so your chances, you can even hear, I can even hear them burning. Your chances of setting what you have, char cloth and all that stuff, a lot better. These are 2 stones that I have in my fire kit. They work out really well. But they're not really going to be good for arrowheads. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Bobby, I know you're trying to identify this stuff. You're going to find it brown, tan, white, gray, black. That piece that I just showed you in my fire kit was black and purple almost. It's almost like a purple color that's in there. You'll find it almost like a yellowish and tan. Where it's like black and gray, and sometimes purple going to white. Very glassy, very waxy. So I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope this was helpful to you. Like again, I'm saying that I'm just learning this stuff. There's a lot of material for primitive living skills to acquire. I mean, I do have some skills, but I have a whole lot I can learn. So maybe you can give me some tips on wild edibles. That's something that I definitely can use to learn. So thanks a lot, guys. I'll talk to you soon.